What's going on, guys? Welcome back to today's video. Today these fish are still pretty deep, but we are going to be trying a little weedless swim bait. Today I'm throwing a Kayak 3.8-inch swim minnow, which I'm already looking at, and I realized I rigged it upside down, so I gotta fix that before I start throwing it. But basically I'm just gonna be tossing it around up in some moss, trying to slow roll it off the bottom. Anything to catch some largemouth bass. Early April right now. I think it's the first week of April, so we're going to get back in there and try to catch some largemouth. Wish me luck. Thanks for watching, guys, and let's rip some lips. I highly recommend that you guys put this bait on the correct way, otherwise it won't swim right. I know, hard to believe. It's around 72 when I got here today, so it's starting to warm up outside temperature wise. This is the second day in the 70s. We do have some thunderstorms rolling in tonight, so I'm going to try to catch a couple fish on the swim bait before the end of the night and hopefully not get wet. There was only like a 30% chance of rain while I'm going to be here, but then, you know, around sunset it's supposed to get a little bit more severe. This little swim bait works excellent during like the spawn and then anytime after that. Basically when the fish are biting, this thing works awesome. If the fish are, you know, a little bit slow and sluggish, it's not always the best bait. Ooh, there was a nice topwater blow up, which is kind of weird. It's still early. Looks like the wind is starting to die down just a little bit. It was saying that it could be up to 13, but tonight it could go all the way down to 4. The water's crystal clear. Oh, I just lost my first fish. That was a pretty good hit right there. I'm gonna throw right back in there and see. This is actually where I caught my personal best bass in this lake, as well as my personal best bass ever. Right at 6 pounds and I think 2 ounces, so just a little over 6. Awesome fish out of here. There are some jumbos that live in this back section here. Couple pretty big downfalls to using a weedless swim bait like this. Basically, if you're getting some shorter bites, you know, not a bass that's really committing, they're just grabbing the back end of that tail, which I've already had happen twice in the 5 minutes I've been throwing. So that's kind of a downfall. And the second one is that there's really no way to get it down in the water column because you still have to reel a certain speed, otherwise the paddle tail doesn't do anything and it's just like a Texas rig worm then, so you don't want that. And because it's riding over the weeds, every time it rides over the weeds it's riding on top of the surface, and the surface bite's just it's not really there right now. The reason I had that first strike, what I kind of call topwater, is because it was only 8 inches deep there. So either a fish was cruising through or maybe early on the bed. But so swim bait can really be deadly, but early spring like this, it can be tough at times as well. So I'm going to try another spot now and see if we can't get something. Otherwise I'll come back because I do have 2 bites here, so I know that there's a few nibbling in this area. There was another bite. That is the 3rd one I've lost on the swim bait. This is tough. This is really tough right now. There's one. Man, that thing came out of nowhere and just destroyed it. I love when they fully commit like that. Not a real big fan of when they hit it so close to the boat because it always freaks you out and you don't set the hook very good. That is the first one on the Kayak, or the Strike King, or whatever kind of paddle tail this is, but first one, not bad. Kind of on a little sand flat right now. There's a few different spots. So right out in the middle there's a big sandbar that has a lot of good fish on it. And then here as well, it's just kind of a random spot where either there was a road when they dug this a long time ago or something. But it's a little shallower here, and right on the edge of that shallow is where I'm getting some bites. Ooh, just had another bite. So I mean, I'm thinking this lure might be the key. Maybe I could shorten it up a little bit, cut off a little bit of the head, make the paddle tail just a little bit, you know, closer to the hook. I'm gonna lose a little bit of action doing it that way, but there's a chance that the fish might really cooperate a little bit better if I do that. That last one I missed was incredible because I was just reeling it in and you could see the fish awaking behind the bait. So it was coming in super hot. There's a fish. Oh yeah, pulling hard. You know what's incredible right now is the water is so clear, you can just see them. It's awesome. Got him pierced pretty good in the side of the mouth. Ah, this guy, you know, he's got some shoulders on him. About 1 3/4 pounds. He's getting close to the 2-pound mark. Cool thing is just how thick these guys are. Pretty neat. Second one on the paddle tail. I'm gonna let him go now. I'm really wishing that I had some kind of underwater camera with me. I could use these GoPros as an underwater camera, but I really like these for just my typical camera angles. But I had another GoPro with me. The underwater shots right now would be ridiculous just because the water is, I don't think I've seen it this crystal clear in a while. It's like perfect time of the year where all the algae from last year's dying off and it's starting to grow from this year. So the water's just pretty clean. 2 bites in a row in one spot. So let's see if we can, well, that's a terrible cast, but let's see if we can get him to bite on the 3rd cast. Oh my gosh, right there at the boat. Paddle tail's where it's at. I wish I wouldn't have been screwing around earlier with some other lures. There's a bite. Feels like a decent guy. Swimming at me pretty good. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Big chunky girls. What an incredible little fight there. The battle with these is, it's just unmatched. You can't beat it. A ditch pickle. We're gonna let him go. Now that I've kind of figured out what's going on, really what I need to be fishing is, you know, about 2 to 3 foot of water. That's where I've gotten almost all my bites, that 2 to 3 foot range. Kind of slow rolling it, kind of working it a little bit, but it's kind of a moderate speed. And I'm gonna stick to this little target range here, and maybe we can pick off something a little bit bigger. But either way, I'm insanely excited that I'm catching some fish right now. There we go. It's also taken me a little bit of time to, you know, remember the best methods to, you know, swim bait fishing. What you really want to do is you want to feel the bite. It's obviously going to pump some slack in it because they're hitting it so hard. And then go ahead and set that hook, even though you're not sure, you know, how far he's run with it. The faster you set that hook and the harder you set it, you're probably going to have a little bit better chance of getting one. Here's the old setup I'm using. I just switched from like a brownish color, like a tan brown, to this is a pearl and a white flake. And hopefully we can get some on that color. I run out of the brown ones, I believe. And it was starting to not be as weedless anymore. I've got a 4/0 hook on there. And that 4/0 hook with, I believe that's a 1/4 ounce weight as well. Just make sure that that bait goes down there. You can do it a few different ways, how you rig these things. You don't have to use weighted swim bait hooks. I prefer them a little bit more just because it's less noise going on in your hook. So you could put a little bullet weight on there with a bobber stop and maybe like an EWG hook or something. But either way, this is the way I'm doing it, and it's working excellent. I just casted right around that tree. And I have a fish on while I'm stuck around this tree. What an absolute mess. Well, I hate to say it, buddy, but you're going around that tree this way, I hope. Oh my goodness. This is no good. This is definitely going to make the bloopers reel, I imagine. Bad thing about braid is that it'll just slice right through wood, no problem. So as you're trying to horse it around some of that stuff, it doesn't always work that good. First fish down, and I think that might have been cast number 1 with the pearl bait. So fish 1, boom. Gosh darn it. That was another awesome bite right there. I seen the wake. That's what's so cool, is you can see the white bait in the water, and then all of a sudden it's gone. And you don't even feel it I mean, you can just see it before you feel it. And it's just such a cool feeling knowing that you're able to trick these fish. It'd just be a little bit cooler if we could land them though. I'm gonna try some more places with a little more open water after I get through a couple more casts in here, but go back to some open water, or a little more open water. There, he's on. Wasn't sure if he was on. Doesn't feel like a real big one. Nope, not a big one. I love these little baits. Awesome. Another largemouth. Actually, I mean, I think I'm probably going to end it here. We've had such a good night. We'll probably be back out here again with these things. It's I'm not seeing that storm that they talked about coming in, so that's a good sign, but I do need to get heading home soon. So like I said, white, pearl, probably a Kayak, might be a Strike King one. I don't think there's much of a difference. And then on the bottom I've got just a 4/0. I believe it's 4/0. You can use 3/0, you can use 5/0. I've used both with the 3.8 inch or 3.5 inch swim baits, and I wouldn't recommend anything else. These things work awesome in here. I'm shocked they're working this early. I typically like to throw things like crankbaits and rattle traps simply for the fact that they've got BBs or bearings inside of them that really agitate the water a little more, makes more vibrations, more noise, and get these fish just going crazy. So highly recommend that. Anyways guys, I gotta say thanks for watching. It's sun's going down quickly, but we got some fish done on this bait. Highly recommend it. So thanks for watching guys, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you guys thought. I really want to hear your opinions. Have you guys ever tried this? And is there any other weedless baits that you recommend for early springtime? Obviously you've got like your topwater frogs and your worms, but you know, worms are just too slow in here. It seems like they want stuff that's really moving, and topwater frogs and any kind of topwater weedless stuff, it's just too cold for that. So I want to hear what you guys have to say. But anyways, thanks for watching guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel, and we will catch you on the next one. Peace, y'all.